Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Our music for gathering this morning can be found in the teal hymnal, number 1010, though I suspect you could do this morning's without the music in front of you. So, dealer's choice, grab that hymnal or not, but I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, and to start with, to just repeat after me. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Now, full disclosure, I have a few plants in the crowd, but that's perfect. Now, I wonder if there's anything else that maybe you might be giving thanks for, other than this precious day. Anyone willing to call one out?
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Could we sing for this sunny day? Yes. Oh, we give thanks for this sunny day, for all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this sunny day. All right, what else are we thankful for? What are we? What was it?
Michigan Wolverines.
The Michigan Wolverines. As a born and raised Buckeye. All right, so we give thanks for the Wolverines. How about? Ready? Repeat after me. Oh, we give thanks for the Wolverines, for those gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for the Wolverines. All right, one more. We give thanks for community. I heard another one. For the chalice singers. All right, you're making up for the Wolverines thing. I like it. But I heard community first, so community first, and then maybe we'll do something about singing next. Oh, we give thanks for community, for those gathered here and those far away, for the love we share and the love we share. Oh, we give thanks for community. Oh, we give thanks for all singing here, for those gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for the singing here. Thanks, everybody. Have a seat. So that is the way that we have opened many and all ages chapel. So thank you for being good sports and for being all ages. Each Sunday here in the sanctuary and online, we take time to kindle a communal flame and to speak together the words of our covenant. In our all ages chapel, we always light a chalice, though usually not the kind with real fire, and we speak together a slightly different set of words that we'd love to share with our whole community this morning. And for this, you'll need not only your voice, but also your hands. So I'm going to invite Stella onto the steps, and if there are any kids here today who might be willing to help teach the congregation, I'd invite you to join Stella here on the steps, but no pressure. So just like we sang, I'll say the words one at a time and we'll ask you to repeat after me. Once we've got it down, we'll say the whole thing together with our hand motions. So please repeat after me. We are Unitarian Universalists.
We are Unitarian Universalists.
This is the home of the open mind. This is the home of the open mind. This is the home of the flaming chalice.
This is the home of the flaming chalice.
This is the home of the loving heart. This is the home of the loving heart. This is the home of the helping hands.
This is the home of the helping hands.
Together we care for our earth.
Together we care for our earth.
And work for peace in our world.
And work for peace in our world.
Okay, think you got it? All right, we'll find out. All right, so if you're watching at home, grab a candle or a chalice of your own, have it ready, and maybe consider sharing in the chat when your chalice is lit and from where you're joining today. Reverend Theresa will light our chalice here in the sanctuary. All right, if everybody's ready, here we go. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the home of the open mind. This is the home of the flaming chalice. This is the home of the loving heart. This is the home of the helping hands. Together, we care for our earth and work for peace in our world. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I was going to encourage everyone to try again, but that was actually quite good. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, a vibrant community of progressive truth seekers and justice warriors since 1865. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. If you're new to our community, we offer a newcomer welcome after every service in the Redmond Room, which is just outside these double doors as you head back towards the main entrance. And you can also go to UUAA.org/newcomer survey to fill out a form so we can get to know you and help you navigate our very large, enthusiastic community. I have one announcement, or rather an encouragement. Next Sunday, we will be celebrating Trans Visibility Day. And now more than ever, we need to show up and advocate for marginalized identities that are under attack. On a day when we lift up trans joy and trans liberation, please wear shirts, pins, hats, jewelry, socks, anything that you have that shows your support and love for trans people in our community and in the world. So, when Dusty and I gather together with the elementary kids for a music and worship chapel, we often start with a time of sharing. Some of you may have been in the congregation long enough to remember joys and sorrows. That was something that we used to do. We have small enough groups that we can actually do that. So sometimes we ask for joys and sorrows, sometimes a rose, a thorn, and a bud. If you don't know what that is, it means something that was great that happened to you, something that wasn't so great, and then something that you're looking forward to. And then there are the days when we explore a specific theme. This morning, we are inviting all of you to engage in some writing and sharing. So on your way in, you hopefully picked up a piece of paper and a small pencil. If you didn't, please raise your hands and the ushers will come around and bring them to you. So you'll see on the paper there's a dotted line that divides the paper into one square and then a smaller rectangle. What does everybody see in the smaller rectangle? What does that look like? A magic wand, that's right. In the top space, we invite you to write a sentence or two or a phrase or a few words answering this question. Where did you find magic this week? Once you've done that, please turn to a neighbor or someone nearby you and share. If you're joining us online, I would encourage you to add your responses to the chat, and you can perhaps engage in some conversation there if you wish. And if you are remote, make sure that you have a piece of paper available for later, and pencil for later in the service. So take about 3 or 4 minutes and write something down, and then turn to somebody and share about it. That's what I would do in the chapel. Thank you, everyone, for taking a moment to share some magic from your own lives. As you may have guessed, our chapel service today will explore the importance of magic and wonder, available to anyone, anytime, anywhere. In that spirit, I offer you a passage from Rachel Carson's book, The Sense of Wonder, a celebration of nature for parents and children, a book that I didn't know about until I started to look into this service, and it was really extraordinary to read. Wherever you are, and whatever your resources, you can still look up at the sky. Its dawn and twilight beauties, its moving clouds, its stars by night. You can listen to the wind, whether it blows with majestic voice through a forest or around the eaves of your house or the corners of your apartment building. And in the listening, you can gain magical release for your thoughts. You can still feel the rain on your face and think of its long journey from sea to air to earth. Even if you are a city dweller, you can find some place where you can observe the mysterious migrations of the birds and the changing seasons. And with your child, you can ponder the mystery of a growing seed, even if it be one planted in a pot of earth in the kitchen window. Those who dwell among the beauties and mysteries of the earth are never alone or weary of life. Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. We are gathered in community. We are gathered in the spirit of magic. We are gathered for worship. And I would like to invite you now to pass your papers to the aisles for the ushers to pick up, but keep your pencils for later.
Hear from our planned giving group, also known as the Sunderland Society, very appropriately named for Jabez Sunderland, who was the Unitarian minister of this congregation for 20 years between 1878 and 1898. If you're not familiar with who he was, take a moment and look him up, and you'll see that his life's work was dedicated to independence in India, women's rights to vote, workers' rights, and peace. He made a difference in the world in the late 1800s that has impacted future generations. So how appropriate our planned giving program is named after him. Let's welcome Kim Clugston and Mary Lynn Stevens now to tell us a bit more about planned giving.
I'm Kim Clugston. And I'm Mary Lynn Stevens. We serve this congregation as part of a newly re-energized planned giving team. We'll speak specifically about planned giving in a moment, but we'd each like to begin with a personal observation. Recently, greeting on Sundays and participating in family fun nights, I've been noticing something wonderful. The number of kids engaged here is growing, and they are full of enthusiasm and excitement. I think about them all the way through their adulthood and about the children who will follow them, being grounded in the love and the power of this community, no matter where they go in the world. For them, I want to offer, with hope and joy for their futures, a planned gift, meaning a gift to UUAA from my will, that will help us and them thrive over the decades. So I have included UUAA as one of the beneficiaries of my will. When I'm gone, a piece of my treasure will stay and go to work for these kids and their kids. I want them to have the resources they need to fiercely battle racism and oppression, to sustain life on earth, and to love and welcome every soul. And as they advance toward Vision 2050, I want to leave them prepared for making their own vision for their years ahead, meeting their own challenges, and continuing to transform the world.
My perspective echoes Kim's, and it crystallized actually through music. Many of you remember, I think, early last month when the choir debuted Hope Lingers On, the song that they did a beautiful excerpt from a moment ago. Man, did it stay with me. It sort of captured me. I got obsessed with it. I YouTubed it. I played it in the car, sang in the car. And from conversations I've had, I know I'm not the only one. For me, those rich harmonies and those spare, powerful lyrics became two things, both a comfort to me in these infuriating and profoundly challenging times. And at the same time that they sort of comforted, they were a not so subtle nudge to face them head on, not with reactive hate, right? But with authentic love and compassion. And not with paralyzing fear, but with active courage and conviction. So then, weeks went by a little bit, and as I began to form my message for today, that song came back in my head, not too surprisingly. And this time, the I of the refrain became a we. We will not hate, and we will not fear. Hope lingers here. And I think that's how it occurred to me. Thank you. I think that's how it occurred to me that no matter what the future brings, as Kim said, a planned gift is just a really tangible, practical way to nourish hope. And right now, the tangible and the practical are really on the front burner. There's all kinds of rising structural costs that I think aren't a stranger to anybody. Maintenance and inflation are already taking their toll. Inflation, we know, is going sky high, and it's going to go stratospheric if it follows the pattern that we've been seeing and that the experts look at. So that's why, as one strategy, Reverend Manish and the board dispatched a team to re-energize the planned giving effort known as the Sunderland Society. Many of you are members already. You have done this, and the whole congregation is enormously grateful to you. Ed, what's the number? 100? I don't know. Sorry. Sorry. It's over 100. It's a lot. All the in the social hall, there's a big list with everybody on there, both living and deceased. But listen to this. Over the last 15 years, this congregation has benefited from $1.2 million from congregants who included us in their wills. That money made expansion possible. It absorbed infrastructure costs and surprise expenses, so that wouldn't have to rob from Peter to pay Paul. Their foresight and their generosity supported every aspect of our thriving today. Hope lingered here. Reverend Manish has not entirely jokingly suggested that we aim for 100% participation, and he's not here to deny it. But so how can you participate? It's actually quite simple. You put in you obviously, there has to be a good deal of thought first, and you have that in your heart. And then, but doing it, writing it, you simply write an intention to include UUAA as beneficiary in however you shape your will or estate. We use a really simple one-page form. There's some copies of it in the, at the table. We'll be out in a little bit. And there's no need to specify an amount. You can specify a percentage if you want. That's what my husband and I have done. And you can change it any time. Want to change it if your fortunes go up or down and you want to do that. So please consider it, and Kim's going to close us out here.
Okay. So please come see us in the social hall today. Our team includes Mary Lynn and me, Don Duquette, Dusty Francis, Ed Lynn, Deb Markham, Nancy Shuey, and Tony Wander. You'll know us by these badge tags. We'll be at the planned giving table and walking around, and we have a handout with some more information. Names of current Sunderland Society members are displayed at the table today. Again, we thank you so much, and we hope you'll stop by and get a sticker for your name tag. You'll hear more from the planned giving team later this spring. Stay tuned for announcements and invitations. Thanks so much for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you in the social hall.
Thank you both. What a gift we can give through planned giving to secure the future of this congregation for generations to come. And guess what? The future depends on the present. So we also need to consider how to keep this congregation's programs and ministries financially healthy right now, so we can continue to lift up UU values at this time when the world needs us, when our children need us, when our trans siblings need us, when the future needs us. So I ask that you consider what this place means to you right now, today, and I ask that you continue your practice of joyful giving by offering what you can. And there are many ways to do this. You can give online at uuaa.org/giving. You can text UUAA to 73256, or you can put cash or checks in the baskets as they come by. Now, if this is a particularly difficult moment in your financial life, or if you are new to us and just visiting, please know your presence is your gift to us, and you can let the baskets pass you by. But if you have the means, every contribution of any amount is welcome and adds to the whole. Together, these offerings make a difference. I invite our ushers to come forward now, as our offering will be gratefully given and received.
Free, 'tis a gift to come down.
Alice singers, thank you for that gift. May this space be where we find ourselves just right, and may this place always be our valley of love and delight. I invite the ushers to please come forward with today's offerings. We recognize with gratitude what we can accomplish together. And if you would rise in body or in spirit and speak with joy and intention the words we use to dedicate our offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thank you. You may have a seat.
Do we always find what we're looking for? Do we always know what we're looking for? Today's first story for all ages is Sam and Dave Dig a Hole by Mac Barnett, illustrated by John Klassen. On Monday, Sam and Dave dug a hole. "When should we stop digging?" asked Sam. "We are on a mission," said Dave. "We won't stop digging until we find something spectacular." The hole got so deep that their heads were underground. But they still had not found anything spectacular. "We need to keep digging," said Dave. So they kept digging. Ooh, looks promising. They took a break. Dave drank chocolate milk out of a canteen. Sam ate animal cookies he had wrapped in their grandfather's kerchief. "Maybe," said Dave, "the problem is that we are digging straight down." "Yes," said Sam, "that could be the problem." "I think we should dig in another direction," said Dave. "Yes," said Sam, "that is a good idea." "I have a new idea," said Dave. "Let's split up." "Really?" said Sam. "Just for a little while," said Dave. "It will help our chances." So Dave went one way, and Sam went another. But they didn't find anything spectacular. "Maybe we should go back to digging straight down," said Dave. "Yes," said Sam, "that's a good idea." Sam and Dave ran out of chocolate milk, but they kept digging. They shared the last animal cookie, but they kept digging. After a while, Sam sat down. "Dave," he said, "I am tired. I cannot dig anymore." "I'm tired too," said Dave. "We should take a rest." Sam and Dave fell asleep. Then Sam and Dave were falling. Sam and Dave fell down, 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 until they landed in the soft dirt. "Well," said Sam. "Well," said Dave. "That was pretty spectacular." And so they went inside for chocolate milk and animal cookies. The end. My first teaching job was at a Jesuit Catholic high school in Cincinnati. Now, I was raised Catholic and I attended a Jesuit university, so not much about the school surprised me. But my eyebrows did go up just a bit when I found out that one of the criteria for teacher evaluations was helps students to see God in all things. Hey, at least I can be thankful I'm teaching music, I thought, and not, American history or PE. Now wait, don't get me wrong, I love a spirited game of kickball just as much as the next guy. But who ever heard of someone, finding the Lord while rounding second? Now, because I have spent so much of my career working for religious institutions, I am regularly asked, "Oh, so are you religious?" To which I have often replied, "I would describe myself as religious, but not spiritual." Inverting the more typical answer of those who know they feel a connection to something greater than themselves, but just can't trust the organized religious institutions in which so many of them have experienced harm. They see God in lots of things, just not in churches. I'd always been the opposite, though. I kind of loved church. I loved the rituals, the history, the art, the community, the millennia of deep thinking about big questions. But neither in the church nor out did I particularly see God, and neither was I particularly looking for God. I've been a comfortable agnostic since my late teens, and I've never felt any tension between my beliefs and my work. It wasn't through my work, however, but through a mutual friend that I met a lesbian Catholic theologian who eventually became one of my best friends. The question she regularly got, as the only out queer woman in global Catholic media, was, "Why do you still consider yourself a Catholic?" And her answer was that she shared the Catholic worldview. To quote an article of hers, "Catholics have a sacramental view of the world. That is, for a Catholic, all of creation is good, and everything in our finite world can be a vessel of God's presence and God's transforming grace." Clearly, she would have had no trouble passing a teacher evaluation at that school I was teaching at. And to be clear, this idea of a permeating divine presence is not uniquely Catholic, nor Christian, nor even monotheistic. It appears in tons of belief systems. This concept is often referred to as immanence, to be contrasted with transcendence, which is the aspect of existence that is outside of the physical world. Now, the mutual friend through whom I met this theologian definitely would have described himself as both religious and spiritual. And like Sam and Dave from our story, the deeper you dug, the more interesting things got. A mix of Catholicism, naturalism, witchcraft, his beliefs certainly allowed for seeing God in all things, though not necessarily by that name. God worked in some situations, but magic, for example, was more appropriate in others. And so this is one of the reasons I found it really funny that he regularly criticized me for expecting too much of the universe. He would tell me that most people, himself included, were happy to just get through their days without anything bad happening, yet I seem to expect every day to be magical. What made me so special? I mean, he was right. Well, about the one thing. He was right that I expected magic every day. But he was dead wrong about my being special for it, or that we should accept the bare minimum of the universe. Everybody should expect magic. Everybody. I firmly believe that if you go looking for magic every day, more often than not, you will find it. Often in unexpected, delightful, sometimes small, easy to miss places, places you only notice if you're looking. What I have learned about myself and about the world is that more often than not, I do see what I'm looking for. Whether I succeed in finding magic in the daily things and people of the world has exceptionally little to do with the world and everything to do with whether or not I've slept enough the night before, whether or not I'm running late and feeling stressed, whether or not I braved the headlines in the newspaper that morning. It's me that changes, not the world. If I can train my mindset to see it, the magic is always there in plain sight, just waiting for me to take delight in it. It's funny for me to think back to that Jesuit school and to admit, even as my own worldview has shifted probably even further from theirs than it was back then, that they were onto something. Encouraging each other to see God in all things, whether we call it God, magic, the divine spark, Brahman, the spirit of life, or our own better angels and the power of community. It's just a reminder that it's all there waiting to be seen if we can only build the habit of looking for it. So I hope for each of us that we seek what we need by whatever name we call it, and that each of us finds it. May it be so.
You know those goosebumps that you're feeling right now? That is magic. Speaking of goosebumps, you're about to meet a character who basically has goosebumps all the time. Stickler Loves the World, our second story for all ages, by Lane Smith. Many strange creatures lived in the part of the forest where shadow met tree. But the strangest of all was Stickler. 3 new sticks! A brown one, another brown one, and another brown one, said Stickler. Why, even Crow will be impressed, and he's seen it all. Sticks. Stickler loved them more than anything. Except maybe Fluffy Cloud, Pretty Bat, Craggy Stone, Sticky Honey, Mushy Moss, Buzzy Bee, Bumpy Bark, Prickly Plant, ouch! Weepy Tree, Busy Bird, Slimy Frog. If you think about it, our world has some pretty weird stuff in it, said Stickler, opening all 8 of its eyes. Oh, to see it all anew, wouldn't that be amazing? Help, said a voice. Help to you, stranger, said Stickler. I can see by your cutting-edge space helmet, you are not from our Earth. Get it out of my head! I do not understand your language, visitor with only 3 eyes, but let me share with you the wonders of my planet. The morning sun reaches through the clouds. Shake hands, it says. Pleased to meet you. Colors bursting like fireworks, flowers. Look, puffballs, and tomorrow there will be twice as many. Smell one. Over here, waves wave. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Consider this fish. Smelly, wonderful. Mostly smelly. Feel it? Wait for it. There! Did you feel it that time? No? It's like a whisper, but one you feel. There it is again. Wind. Behold, the joy of rocks. And just think of the wonders we must pass every day without noticing. Then there are these things dancing for us, falling, spinning, whirling, twirling around and around. Dizzy. The colors of sunset. Look, orange, don't look. Look, pink, don't look. Look, purple, don't look. Look, blue. Let me adjust your space visor so you can see better. Ow, caw, caw. Crow, it's you! I didn't think that can was ever coming off. Thanks, Stickler, for opening my eyes. But Crow, everything today, you've seen it all before. No, Stickler, today you really did open my eyes. Crow, look, stars for wishing. Let us say our favorite wishes together. Friendship, happiness, world peace, maple syrup. Zooks, said Stickler, almost forgetting its most favorite thing of all. Sticks! Each one unique. A brown one, another brown one, another brown one, another brown one. Wonders. With sticks in hand and wing, the 2 friends walked home quietly. Because, whispered Stickler, no words can truly describe a world so amazing, so weird, so wonderful. But Stickler tried anyway. Chirpy crickets, misty fog, shiny moon, glowy fireflies, fuzzy moths, hooty owl. The end. This past weekend, until about 9 a.m. this morning, we at the UUAA hosted a regional youth conference for the first time since 2017. And, you know, I'll say this, the youth con culture used to be very vibrant, and then COVID obviously disrupted that enormously. And so this was a huge sort of re-energizing rebirth of this movement, which I hope it is. So we had about 30 adults and youth from about 5 different congregations gathered together. And on Friday, we did what we often do to begin some sort of event like this. We created a group covenant. The youth led this, and they included the usual stuff about kindness, respect, listening, cell phone use. But one teen from another congregation shared that their home youth group includes always look for wonder in their covenant. It was one of those moments of inspiration that it sent a genuine murmur of excitement and energy through the group. And you know, when you have teenagers in a group, it's sometimes hard to get them excited about anything. It reminded me of something I read this week from Buddhist meditation teacher and author Ladro Rinsler, who writes a Substack called The Laundry, which is fantastic. I highly recommend it if you like Substack. He described wonder as, quote, this union of possibility and happiness, a willingness to believe that what is about to occur could simply be awesome, end quote. You know, especially at a time when so much feels so catastrophic, when most of us wake up grimacing in anticipation of what next batch of horrors awaits us, it is absolutely essential that we embrace an optimistic, open-hearted perspective, that we commit to looking for wonder. And the good news is we don't have to look very far to find it. And this morning, actually, as I got up very, very early, about 6 a.m. after getting to bed at about 1, there was an incredible sunset this morning. And I often see them, but sort of walk by. And today, I sat there and I just looked at it for a while, and it was really beautiful. I want to talk a little about bubbles. Bubbles are everywhere. They're in our water, they're in our drinks, they're just in the world. But when was the last time you actually considered how astonishing they are? I learned a lot about bubbles in the past few weeks because my daughter Willa had to do a science project, and she decided to investigate what makes bubbles last longer than others. She tested 4 different recipes, and we discovered that bubbles made with dish soap and sugar are by far the most robust, especially when you compare them with the terrible store-bought kind. One bubble sat on the wand for more than 7 minutes before finally succumbing to its inevitable pop. Bubbles are both fragile and durable. They're reflective and they're translucent. They're colorful and they're clear. They're constant and they're variable. They're grounded in scientific concepts and they're utterly miraculous. It's not a surprise that Willa chose to study the science of bubbles because she has always been captivated by them. When she was only 5, I think, I got her one of those giant bubble kits, you know, the ones that you make the giant bubbles with. And I got dish soap. I bought in bulk dish soap and this bubble mixing powder and like a big gallon. And so I would mix her these gallons and gallons of bubble soap. She would spend hours by herself in the backyard just making giant bubbles and watching them float away and pop. She was making magic. And I imagine that many parents spend summer hours in the backyard blowing bubbles, chasing bubbles, and popping bubbles. My recollection is that I usually had to hold the bottle as I demonstrated how to dip the wand and blow gently enough to make an actual bubble. And I also tried, mostly unsuccessfully, to help them learn not to spill all of the solution or not to put the wands in their mouths. And then, of course, once they were old enough to do it all by themselves, they kind of lost interest. Bubbles are the best, and I also hated them. They're sticky and they're frustrating, and I had to do all the work. In the movie Knocked Up, Paul Rudd's character takes his kid to the park, and he laments to his friend, quote, "I wish I liked anything as much as my kids like bubbles. Their smiling faces just point out your inability to enjoy anything," end quote. The film as a whole has aged badly, but that one line, it rings so true to me. Childhood is filled with wonder and awe. Adulthood often feels like an obligation-laden grind with little room for pleasure and play. But our capacity to engage with the world with childlike wonder is always available to us. The problem is that we don't practice nearly enough. Instead, we focus our energy and attention on what needs to get done, which doesn't leave a lot left over for the good stuff, the stuff that makes life worth living. As neuroscientist Bo Lotto says, quote, "People think wonder is an experience of the world. It's actually a way of looking. It doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. And the more you work at it, the easier it gets." One of my SGD committee colleagues, Tim Miller, who's sitting right there, shared with me his experience at a big STEM Fest event for families and young kids, where participants would wander from station to station trying out different science experiments. Tim's station explored air pressure, and one of the activities was having kids hold a hairdryer vertically and put a ping pong ball in the airstream. I'm sure you've seen things like that at the Hands-On Museum and other kids' science museums. I want to share Tim's description of one particular kindergartner. Quote, "She just lit up like a light bulb and was shrieking with laughter and didn't want to let go of the dryer. This is why I work with children. The laughter and wonder is a balm to my soul and helps me to keep my own curiosity, humility, and awe alive," end quote. This is also why I work with kids, because as beginners rather than experts, they take nothing for granted. Just being alive offers the promise of new miracles, new magic, the potential for something awesome to happen. Some of those awesome things happen every day. Some of these awesome things are always there. It doesn't make them any less awesome. As Monica Parker writes in her book, The Power of Wonder, quote, "A sunset can be just a sunset, or it can be the thing that connects you to the universal good in humanity," end quote. We all get to choose. Maybe a bubble is just a pocket of air surrounded by soap film, or maybe it's a window into what really matters, our connections to one another and to this magical world of ours. Amen. So, does everyone still have your pencils? All right. So now I'd like to invite the ushers to start passing the baskets back again, much as they do during the offertory. And this time I invite you to take someone else's paper from the first part of the service. And do you remember that there was that larger empty space below where you wrote your magic thing? Now you get to draw whatever someone else's magic thing was. So we're going to take a couple of minutes to create an artistic interpretation. It can be literal, it can be abstract. Let the spirit move you. If you're online, our chat monitors are going to copy and paste the magical things from earlier in the service so that you can choose one to draw. And now this is the really cool part. At the end of the service, we're going to collect all the papers and we're going to make a massive mosaic that the entire congregation will have a chance to color in over the next couple months. Yes, so we're going to put it together on big poster boards and it'll be up in the social hall with markers. So as you come and go on Sundays or even during the week, please come in, do a little coloring. Online folks, please bring your drawings from home if you're able to do so. As I said, the mosaic and the markers will be available in the social hall, hopefully starting next week if I can get it together and make the thing. Let's continue to make magic together. So take about 3 or 4 minutes to do some art. So remember how this is a chapel service? Sometimes things get a little messy in the chapels, so if you're still working on your drawing, you are welcome to do so. You don't have to pass it back in until the end, so just hang on to it if you didn't get your paper until a little bit later in the service and you're still feeling inspired and want to add more to it. But when you do leave today, on the way out, there will be baskets to put the pencils and the papers in. And now, we sing.
Yeah, folks, I invite you to rise as you're comfortably willing and able, turning again in our teal hymnal to hymn number 1018, 1018, as we sing together, Come and Go With Me, in the teal hymnal number 1018.
In the very last Calvin and Hobbes comic strip published in 1995. Wow, it really snowed last night. Isn't it wonderful?
Everything familiar has disappeared. The world looks brand new.
A new year, a fresh, clean start.
It's like having a big white sheet of paper to draw on.
A day full of possibilities. It's a magical world, Hobbes, old buddy. Let's go exploring.
May it be so.